America, and happening now, road to recovery. The highway to the Lower Keys reopening this morning. Residents heading home warned, brace yourselves.
The Keys are not what you left.
And sad to say, there's more trouble brewing out in the Atlantic. The problem called Maria, eyeing an already battered Caribbean.
Breaking overnight, new terror arrest. A second man taken into custody in connection with the London subway attack. As police carry out raids, and we learn more about the bomb in a bucket and how it was made. With the threat level critical, will there be another attack?
Fraternity death, what preliminary autopsy results show about an LSU freshman.
We're all devastated by this.
His death investigated as a possible hazing case, the history of allegations at the fraternity's chapters, and what the national organization has done about them.
And caught on camera, look at this, a Ferris wheel fall. A fair worker trying to rescue two small boys taking a terrifying plunge. Their parents petrified.
I felt helpless, and it was the scariest moment.
How everyone is doing this morning.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. And as we come on the air, police in Florida are now letting people who live in the Lower Keys return home.
It's been an anguishing wait for many of these people. They've been lined up on the highway, which is just opening now, 1 week after Irma hit. They're finally going to get their chance to see what happened to their homes.
But as they do so, news they don't want to hear this morning. They've got to keep an eye on the Atlantic, where 3 storms are currently brewing. One of them is likely to hit some of the islands that have already been decimated by Irma.
We've got team coverage this morning with reporters in the Keys and in the Caribbean, but we're going to start here with Rob, who's keeping his eye on those 3 storms out in the Atlantic. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Hello, Paul. Here are your 3 storms, Lee, Maria, and Jose. Maria, we're really worried about. Jose, we're going to have to contend with here in the near term. Just about 400 miles or so off the coast of North Carolina. Still a strong and actually enlarging hurricane. It will weaken once it hits cooler waters near New England, but how close it gets to the shoreline will determine exactly what kind of impacts we have from the Delmarva across parts of the Outer Banks, and including New York and Boston and the New England coastline. Dangerous surf, rip currents, and gusty winds. Some of these winds could be in excess of tropical storm strength. Now, Maria, this is quickly organizing east of the Caribbean islands and will likely become a hurricane today. It's not a small one. Expected to become a major hurricane by the time it gets into the northern Caribbean islands Wednesday and Thursday. And here's the track. Barbuda, Antigua, St. Martin. These are islands that were decimated by Irma, getting into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands as a Category 3 likely on Wednesday. Thursday, potentially right over Puerto Rico. Beyond that, making a run maybe towards the U.S. We'll deal with that later. But right now, this thing is strengthening as we recover from Irma here in the U.S. and on those islands. Dan and Paula, back to you.
Yeah, and obviously Harvey before it. Nerves are frayed. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you. As we said at the top of the show, the entire length of the Florida Keys now reopening to the people who live there.
Now, those returning home for the first time since Hurricane Irma, they're being warned that they might be heartbroken at what they find. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in the Keys this morning for us, where people are getting a first glimpse of all of the damage. Victor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. This is the last checkpoint before Key West. We've seen cars streaming in. Residents and business owners finally able to return to see what Irma left behind.
This morning, authorities finally fully reopening the Florida Keys. Almost exactly 1 week after Irma first made landfall in Cudjoe Key. But many returning to the hard-hit area will be coming home to total destruction.
The Keys are not what you left when you evacuated.
Those evacuees now getting a first-hand look at the devastation left in Irma's wake. Streets lined with shipwrecked boats, homes torn apart, businesses flattened.
We're definitely not going to be able to stay here.
Vicious storm surge and Category 4 winds. FEMA saying 90% of all homes in the area were damaged or destroyed, forcing authorities to immediately close off the 112-mile stretch of islands, slowly reopening roads to frustrated evacuees on Wednesday. And the residents who stayed behind.
We should have evacuated, but we thought we would be okay, but it's just, I'm sorry.
Finding themselves surrounded by water, but not the kind they can drink, suffering through sweltering heat with no air conditioning and no electricity. Rescuers,
fire rescue,
and cleanup crews working tirelessly, but still officials warning overnight, enter at your own risk.
Bring your supplies, bring your water, just be self-sufficient.
Although the Keys are back open, there's still about 20 neighborhoods where checkpoints are still set up because those areas were very hard hit. Half of Key West is still without power, and across the state, more than 600,000 customers are still without power this morning as well. Dan and Paula?
So many emotions from the residents there. We know it's going to be a long road to recovery. Victor, thanks for your reporting this morning. And as people in Florida recover, the situation may be even more dire out in the Caribbean.
Paradise Islands, famous Paradise Islands, devastated, including the island of St. Martin, where it's been a struggle to survive since Irma. And now there's that new storm, Maria, moving in. ABC's David Wright has been surveying the damage.
Good morning, Dan. The relief effort is ramping up here. Even giant cruise ships like this one pitching in. The Royal Caribbean Majesty of the Seas just back from a relief mission to St. Thomas and St. Martin, bringing supplies in and people out. A flood of people desperate to leave St. Martin. At the island's main airport, the terminal isn't safe. So the departure lounges, such as they are tents propped up in the parking lot, country by country, with duct-taped flags and plywood signs.
I'm here since 5 o'clock in the morning.
It'll likely take months to restore water and power to much of the island. Irma ripped off the roof of this power station and destroyed several of the island's water tanks, too. Only this weekend did gas stations and banks open briefly.
You know, the government abandoned us. You understand?
Like many islands in the Caribbean, St. Martin relies on tourism. Upwards of 90% of the economy is tourism-based, but just look what Hurricane Irma has done. All of these buildings are hotels, and none of them will be opening anytime soon. Among the passengers boarding the cruise ship, hotel owners Mike and Fawnette. Their beachfront B&B, the Azure Beach Hotel, a total loss.
Well, the Azure Hotel is destroyed, but we're going to be demolishing it and rebuilding it and opening hopefully in a year.
Full recovery is clearly going to take some time because the engine of the local economy, tourism, is simply not functioning. But the people that we met on St. Martin, they are resilient and they're determined to pull through this. Paula?
Resilient, David, thank you, but not welcome news that Maria might be barreling their way as well. We want to turn now to a major new development in the London subway bombing. There was a second arrest overnight. Police say that they have taken a 21-year-old man into custody.
This comes after raids in a suburb of London as they search for clues, trying to find who planted a crude bomb that went off during Friday morning rush hour. ABC's Ian Pannell is at Scotland Yard. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Paula. From Scotland Yard, this is where London's Counter-Terrorism Command is working around the clock, trying to find who was responsible for Friday's subway bombing. We have some significant developments for you, and also new details now starting to emerge about one of the key suspects.
Overnight, a second arrest made in the London train bombing, an attack that left 30 people injured during morning rush hour. A 21-year-old man was taken by anti-terrorism police in West London just before midnight. In a fast-moving investigation, police earlier raided a home near London yesterday. Officers swooping into this normally peaceful neighbourhood just hours after an 18-year-old suspect was arrested. His identity yet to be revealed. Neighbours in the area evacuated for their own safety.
I was scared, to be honest. I was really scared.
Significantly, that home just 12 miles away from Parsons Green, the site of the explosion.
The threat level remains at critical. We urge the public to remain vigilant but not alarmed.
Investigators are calling the 18-year-old's arrest significant.
He was arrested on suspicion of being concerned in the commission, preparation or instigation of acts of terrorism. He's now been transferred to custody at a police station in London.
The homemade device detonated at Parsons Green contained nails and triacetone triperoxide, or TATP, according to officials. It's made from hydrogen peroxide, commonly sold as hair bleach and other chemicals. This highly unstable compound has been used in terror attacks before, from Paris to Brussels, including the Manchester bombing at an Ariana Grande concert that killed 22.
Well, what we're hearing now is that the 18-year-old suspect may well have already been known to the police, although that's not confirmed at this stage. That's what the media here are reporting. So the terror threat level remains at high level, and also the investigation is very, very active still. Dan, Paula.
Certainly is. Ian, thanks for reporting from London this morning. We want to bring in our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who will be hosting this week a little bit later this morning. Good morning to you, George. I know you've got an exclusive with Britain's Prime Minister, Theresa May. You're going to be devoting much of the show to that, but we want to play a clip of that interview.
President Trump also tweeted this morning that the solution is a bigger, tougher travel ban. That's an idea you've been against. Is it something you would reconsider?
I think what is important is that we're able to have the powers to look into people, to identify people who may be wanting to cause us harm and are plotting to cause us harm, and to be able to take the necessary action when people do cause us harm. As it happens, here in the United Kingdom, when I was Home Secretary, I banned more extremist hate preachers. I excluded more extremist hate preachers from coming to the UK than any Home Secretary before.
So do you anticipate Trump trying to use the situation in Britain right now as ammunition to continue pushing his travel ban?
Well, that's what we saw on Friday morning. Just as this was breaking, the president had those tweets where he talked about that he did want a bigger, tougher travel ban, even though he's had so much trouble with the travel ban already in place. Unclear that he's actually going to push this. In fact, I'm going to ask his National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, General McMaster, about that this morning. But the president really did jump on this even before knowing fully what had happened. I also talked to the Prime Minister about the president's tweet where he said these people were known to Scotland Yard. It appears that he might have gotten that information from Fox and Friends, and she was actually quite riled by this. She said people shouldn't be speculating about who's behind this or whether they were known to police.
Right.
Other stories brewing in the political sphere, including a report over the weekend that the President Trump might not pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. The White House then shot that down, but it does kind of fit into this.
They didn't quite shoot it down. It's hard to know exactly what's going on here. It was a pretty startling headline in the Wall Street Journal coming out of this climate conference where a U.S. representative was speaking, also a number of European officials. Unclear exactly what's happening. It's something I want to press General McMaster on this morning as well. It appears the United States may be trying to stay in the accord now, but but having lower levels of emissions cutbacks than we have had in the past. But the president was quite clear when he came out saying we will withdraw from the climate accord. That now appears to be in question, but we'll try to get some clarity today.
What do you make of the overt effort to seemingly woo Democrats? I mean, cozying up with Chuck and Nancy, having dinner with them, but really what do you make of what's going on?
Well,
do you think it's a strategy?
Well, clearly the president has something in mind here. We're not sure exactly what. I mean, but that was a real surprise to especially Republican leaders in Congress, a lot of people in President Trump's base this week, when he seemed to cut that deal with Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer over the Dreamers. The 800,000 immigrants who came here as children. Unclear whether that's actually going to go through, whether a deal will actually be put into place. But the president is clearly angry with Republican leaders in Congress, clearly frustrated that he hasn't been able to get much done with complete Republican control of government, looking for a new way out. How long this will last is anyone's guess, but it certainly has shaken up Washington this week. That's what the president promised to do when he was elected. We're going to talk about that on our roundtable this morning.
Keeps us all guessing, that's for sure.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
Appreciate it. A lot to talk about this morning. You can see much more of George's exclusive interview with the British Prime Minister Theresa May later this morning on This Week. Plus, he's going to go one-on-one, as he said, with the White House National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster and House Intelligence Committee Ranking Member Congressman Adam Schiff, plus the Powerhouse Roundtable. It's all coming up on This Week right here on ABC. Thanks again, George.
Thanks again, George. We want to move now to another breaking story. Overnight reports of a shooting at a casino in East St. Louis.
There is word that it involved a robbery, and ABC's Kenneth Moten is right there on the scene with more on what we're learning. Kenneth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. The overnight details are still coming in, but this was a violent and brazen robbery at this popular East St. Louis casino. 3 robbery suspects, 1 security guard shot, and a lot of frightened people inside this casino queen here. Take a look at this video. Illinois State Police say this all sparked around 3 a.m. when 3 men ran into the business armed with assault rifles. They made their way directly to that cash cage, that secured area where the casino pays out. Investigators say the men were able to get an undisclosed amount of money before taking off. But during their escape, during the chaos that erupted, a security guard who tried to stop those robbers was shot. He was unarmed. We're told this morning he is in stable condition. We also have video from Facebook moments after this violent incident happened. The suspects got away as people ran for cover. Of course, there is surveillance video of this robbery and shooting. State police are searching through it to try to get an image of the armed robbers and their getaway vehicle. They are also talking with those witnesses who saw this violent incident. A state police investigator, guys, just told us moments ago that in his 25 years on the job, he's never seen a violent and brazen incident like this at this casino. Dan and Paula.
Quite a statement right there. We know you'll be tracking the story throughout the day for us. Kenneth, thank you so much. And we are learning more this morning about what may have caused the recent death of a college freshman at LSU, which is being described as a, quote, potential hazing incident.
And this comes as Maxwell Groover's grieving family is speaking out about what happened here. ABC's Ariel Reshef joins us with more. Ariel, good morning.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Less than a month ago, Max Groover's family was moving him into his college dorm. Now they're grieving his death and left wondering, was he the victim of fraternity hazing?
This morning, anguish and a push for answers as the heartbroken family of Louisiana State University freshman Max Groover prepares for his funeral.
We will never know what he might have contributed to the world.
A preliminary autopsy showing the Phi Delta Theta pledge had a highly elevated blood alcohol level, plus the presence of THC, a component of marijuana, in his system. LSU administrators quickly calling this a possible case of hazing, shutting down all Greek life on campus during their investigation.
There's evidence that somebody was hazed. We're going to take action against that person.
While hazing has not been proven to have been involved in Groover's death, the fraternity's national organization suspending the LSU chapter and promising any individuals who are found to have violated our policies will be held accountable. With more than 150 chapters, the fraternity telling ABC News, over the past decade, Phi Delta Theta has removed 19 undergraduate chapters due to risk management violations. Such violations include allegations of misconduct like alcohol-related incidents and hazing. Attorney Doug Fireberg, who represents hazing victims, recently settling a lawsuit against Phi Delta Theta on behalf of a University of Chicago pledge.
Universities and fraternities are not taking the steps, and this goes back decades, to prevent these problems and reform their institutions that are fundamentally dangerous.
Sorrow.
We're all devastated by this.
And intensified scrutiny of fraternities following hazing-related tragedies, like the recent death of Penn State Beta Theta Pi pledge Timothy Piazza.
Our family is completely devastated.
Another family sending a young student to live the college dream, now living a nightmare.
Groover's grandfather describing him as talented and bright with a love of sports and writing. Phi Delta Theta's CEO telling ABC News the fraternity will be completing a full review of all health and safety policies and saying, quote, our goal is always and has always been to help every individual meet their true potential. This is why the situation at Louisiana State University is particularly heartbreaking. Dan, Paula.
Really sad. We keep hearing stories like these. Ariel, thank you.
Thanks, Ariel.
We've got to take another look at the weather. Let's get it back to Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys, a quick update on what's going on with Hurricane Jose, again, off the Carolina coastline and traversing in this general direction from Virginia Beach, Ocean City. We've all seen rip currents this weekend, and now the winds are going to be coming into play here as we go through tomorrow and again on Tuesday. The exact track of this still up for debate, but 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Certainly a potential Atlantic City and maybe across Long Island as well, and that could bring down some trees and power lines. Some severe weather across the Texas Panhandle. Yesterday, we had winds gusting over 60 miles an hour in Kansas. Some more rain expected today. That's a quick check on what's happening nationally. Here now is your local forecast.
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandergraff. Outside today, much like yesterday, mid-80s, warm, definitely a little bit of mugginess in the atmosphere. Very highly isolated shower off to the west. Get out and enjoy the day. Take advantage. Tonight, 60s, partly cloudy, muggy. Tomorrow, a little less intense with the heat, with temperatures in the upper 70s. Still going to be a little bit muggy. Watching Jose churning off our coast. That could bring a few breezes. Definitely the biggest impact will be out along the shore out to the east. Notice as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, pleasant. Friday, we kick off fall.
Hurricane season, but it's also mid-September. That means some folks are getting snow. Talk more about that in the next half hour. You got it.
Say it ain't snow.
That's the Alaska forecast.
And it's not the Alaska forecast, as
right
Dan
here.
just pointed out?
Lower 48.
All right, cool. What's cooking in the news department, Ron?
Hey, well, good morning to you, Dan and Paula, Adrian, Robert. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin in St. Louis, where demonstrators took to the streets for a second night to protest a judge's decision to acquit a white former police officer in the 2011 fatal shooting of a black man. The protest turned violent The police ordered the protesters to disperse. Demonstrators throwing water bottles and trash cans down the streets. 9 people were arrested there. In Washington, D.C., it was a day of multiple protests. About 500 Donald Trump supporters gathering on the National Mall for what they call the mother of all rallies to show their support for the president. Supporters of the rap group Insane Clown Posse, known as Juggalos, gathered at the Lincoln Memorial to protest, the FBI designating them as, quote, a loosely organized hybrid gang with some of its members allegedly involved in criminal